Okay, we have another race today that we're going to be taking part in um, at Daytona. And Brock Purdy was kind enough to loan me his Acura NSX so that I could use it in this race. And here I am qualifying on lap one. And this is the spec race, and these are R class cars, um, but actually kind of the lower end of the R categorization, because most of these cars are like R28, R34, um, and of course the R can go all the way up to R800, which is a whole different animal than these cars. Um, Now, that's not to say that these aren't very powerful and very fast cars, because they are. Um, but they don't have tires that are as wide, and they don't have engines that have as much power as the higher end R class cars. And so here I am on back straightaway, and I'm getting up to about 170 or so, before you have to do this heavy braking to go to this chicane in the middle of the back straightaway. And that's a kind of a slippery little part right there where you're coming out of that chicane, um, transitioning up to the banked track again, because that little corkscrew section is flat and the track is banked at I think Daytona is 32 or maybe 35 degrees, I don't know, but it's banked pretty severely. It's like in this section right here, this is transitioning over to the third qualifying lap. This is like the infield at Daytona, and it's flat. Um, and then as you make your way around this tight right-hander, and you head down this short little straightaway to this left-hander, you're transitioning from the flat over to the bank track right here. Now, of course, if you were in like the tri-oval circuit and a stock car, you'd be totally on that bank track, except for the front straightaway part. That's flat, but everything else is, and the back straightaway, but everything else is heavily banked in the corners at Daytona, and that's why when you come out of this right here and you transition over to this section of the track, which is heavily banked, it's kind of dicey right through there. But I'm coming around, finishing up qualifying. Um, and right now things are looking pretty good. I actually have the pole position with a time of 149, which is pretty good at Daytona, 149. Um, and I go into the pits to have my crew check things over, make sure I'm not messing up Brock's car. Um, and then we get ready for the race itself. And we're going to take a look at the field that we'll be competing against. Um, and we have um, a Ferrari, another Ferrari, a Ford Falcon from Australia, a Chevy Corvette, another Chevy Corvette, a Lamborghini, a BMW. There I am in the Acura NSX, and we're getting ready to go. Here we go. Oh, I just noticed we got Jimmy Johnson over here. Oh, okay. So this guy bumps into me, kind of knocks me off track there, and there's this big traffic jam thing going through this little section. Trying to make my way around this BMW, and that Corvette slides off track. This Lamborghini here doesn't make it to the corner too well, but somebody behind me spins me out, and I end up dropping all the way down to 16th place. And a lot of that spin out happens. Now here's this Captain America Corvette again. A lot of that spin out happens as a result of the tires being totally cold on the first lap, and they don't have any grip, and people bump into your rear quarter panel, and it spins you out, just like that move that law enforcement does, where they come up and they oh, what is that? I can't remember the name of what they call that, but they tap you on the rear quarter panel and it spins you out. And there's racers that do that on purpose to spin people out. Or a pit maneuver. That's what it's called. A pit maneuver. But anyway, so what I'm trying to do is regain some kind of track position of relative respectability, and it looks like I'm a little bit faster than this Corvette down this straightaway part here. I'm getting up a little over 180 miles an hour, but now you've got heavy braking, downshifting all the way down to first gear, and I kind of misjudged things. This Ferrari spins out. There's another car back there that spun out. And that Chevy gets past me. Kind of a patriotic or a Captain America paint job on it. But I've moved up to 14. And this race is 9 laps long. So you will have to pit to get fresh tires, because that's just the way it goes. And I'm running a medium tire compound, and I use medium tires in qualifying as well. I was going to use soft tires in qualifying, but I chose to use medium, so I might have been able to get a little bit faster qualifying time had I used soft tires, because you can go through this section right here a little bit faster because you have more grip, and you can kind of carve through the corners a little bit harder because you have more grip. But I chose to stick with the medium tires because I wanted to have the car remain feeling the same way in qualifying that it would in the race itself. And that turned out to be true. Now here's somebody, it looks like a ghost car that's coming up on, and this guy might be lapped, or no, I guess not. So there's a couple of cars, and that guy right there spins out, but it turned into a ghost, so I was able to drive through it. Otherwise, I would have slammed right into that guy. And I believe that was a Porsche, like a Porsche GT3 or something like that. A 911 body style Porsche. And I'm kind of gaining on Captain America here. But, you know, that's a pretty powerful engine under there, so when he gets on it, he can pull away. Now, that's not to say that the engine that's in this NSX isn't a powerful engine, because it is, and it really um, exceeds when it gets into the higher revs. These Hondas, they really take off when they get into the upper power band. But I'm trying to, you know, not make any mistakes and remain consistent in my lap times. And here's somebody, I'm not exactly sure, that's a ghost car, so that's undoubtedly lap traffic, and that looked like it was a BMW M8, I believe. And these two guys here, they look like they're kind of tangling a little bit, which can cause them to be slower and allow me to catch up to them. And this guy in front of me looks like that's a BMW M8 as well. Although it might be one of those Mercedes AMGs, but I think that's an M8, I think. But I'm trying to reel him in and get past him. I haven't yet had the opportunity to be like next to him on a straightaway, so I don't know if I have more speed on the straightaway than he does. But I clearly came out of that corner better than he did, and I'm able to catch up to him a little bit here. And once I get into fifth gear and I get into the power band, I kind of shoot past him, and he brakes quite a bit. So he kind of gave me this position because that guy kind of backed off. I'm going through that section a little bit slower than I like to. I like to try to make it through that section at a little over 100 or right around 100. And it kind of depends upon how much braking you use before you head into it. And here's a couple more cars ahead of me that look like they're within reach. And I'm noticing in my mind, I'm going, okay, I'm on the fifth lap. So as I'm coming around on this lap right here, I have to head into the pits. And this is a Lamborghini up ahead of me here. Or no, I take that back. That's that Captain America Corvette. And my little minor tire wear warning comes up on the heads-up display. So, but I've already knew that in my mind. This is the fifth lap. So I'm going in for tires on this lap. And if I do it right, I might gain some positions in the pits. It depends upon how the other people go in and exit the pits, and whether or not they choose to take just tires or they take tires and fuel, because some people, they put less fuel in the car so that the car is overall lighter and thereby a little bit faster. But then when they pit, the pit stop takes longer because they have to add tires and fuel, whereas I leave more fuel in the car, so that when I pit, all I have to do is tires. And so I dive into the pits here, and very automatically it comes down to pit speed, and I say just tires. I don't want no fuel. And as a result of that, I get out of the pits faster than one of the people. And you can see him right there. And from this camera angle, you can see there's two people that got through the pits faster than I did. And now we're back on track. And these two guys in front of me, I'm going to be trying to catch them. So there's like roughly 3 laps left. And there might be enough time and enough real estate in front of me in order for me to catch these guys, but I'm not sure of that yet. And like this corner right here, if you get through this corner properly, you can really gain a lot of ground on the people in front of you heading into this banked back straightaway section. And I did okay coming out of there, but not as good as I could have. You get up to about, you know, a little over 175, and then lots of braking down to third gear to get through this section here. And off track there, but I didn't get penalized. So those guys in front of me, they kind of look like they're pulling away a bit. But at the same time, it kind of seems like I'm gaining a little bit of ground, although they're slowing down now because of this corner. So it kind of looks like you're gaining more ground than you actually are. But going through this little S section right here, you know, I'm feeling like, yeah, I'm gaining ground on this guy. And so I keep at it, pedal to the metal. Let's see what I can do. Kind of misjudged that one a little bit right there and ended up slowing down more than I would have liked to going through that corner. And then here, I only downshift to second, and then I have to, at the last minute, I have to downshift to first because I misjudged that corner altogether. And so the transition onto this banked back straightaway was not as smooth as I would have liked. And that guy in front of me, he was able to get further away. And I just looked up at the position marker, and I go off track right here, and this Porsche right here, and this Chevrolet, they're able to get past me. And I was just looking at the position marker, and I was going, I was in 10th place. How did I get in 10th place, you know? Because I was in 11th. So somebody either went off track or quit the race or whatever. But these two guys in front of me, I want to get past these guys. I'm fairly certain that I'm faster than they are. And coming through this section right here, I'm gaining ground on them. Now they are giving each other room and they're not banging into each other, which for somebody who's behind them, that can be advantageous because all that tangling slows them down. And I'm able to get through this a lot better that time than I did on the previous lap. And so that allowed me to have just a little bit more speed coming out of there, and that comes into play when you're trying to catch people. and the car slides quite a bit there. And I didn't come out of that as smoothly as I would have liked. And those guys are able to pull further away. And we're coming around for the beginning of the final lap. And so in my mind, I'm already thinking that, well, I'm on the last lap here, so the tires aren't going to be quite as good as they were. And I have to be a little bit more cautious in the corners and things like that. But it does seem as though that I'm gaining ground on these guys, but I don't know that I'm going to be able to pass them by the end of this final lap. Now that Porsche, he does go off track there a little bit, and I was able to gain a little bit of ground on him. And he doesn't brake all that good right here, which kind of distracts me a little bit. But I want to keep him close going through this corner right here so that I can get past him. But he swings wide, and that enables me to gain even more ground on him. And I'm making up ground on him here. And I'm getting ready to try a pass, and then he dives right in front of me. And literally flies over the top of my car. And he spun out and there was a collision, but no penalty, because that guy spun out and, literally flew over the top of my car. So I'm up to 10th, coming up to the start-finish line. So I did make it into the top 10, but nowhere near the podium. So that's my race for today at Daytona in the Brock Purdy San Francisco 49er Acura NSX. I hope you liked it, and I will see you on the racetrack.